Hello everybody and welcome to another ARKHAM list video. Today, as it says at the bottom of the screen, we're talking about the 5 best level 0 Rouge cards.
That's like
that's in January.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Rouge cards.
I know, it's wild. Yeah. Rogue cards. Sorry, my mistake. So, if you haven't been watching this, we've been doing this for all of the classes so far, and by that I mean Guardian and Secret, the 2 that came before. But this is Bryn's class, which everyone loves to hear Bryn talk about rogue cards.
They really shouldn't.
Yeah. All right, let's dive in with Bryn's number 5, which is
the Tennessee Sour Mash. So what I heard was my 5 favorite rogue level 0 cards. I guess what was intended was the best. Is this the best? You know what's good? Not Dying. Not Dying is pretty good.
You didn't answer the question. You asked, is this the best? And then you said something different.
What?
You didn't answer the question whether this is the best.
Well, yeah.
I'm just trying to help you stay on track.
We don't ask questions like that here.
Okay.
Especially not as far as rogue cards go, because that's like actually very difficult.
Yeah. And it is
objectively, there are a couple of very powerful ones. I'll stop cutting you off.
And it is one of those things when we make these lists, I say best, favorite, I don't give a crap.
The video is called best because then people come and watch it.
Yeah, but Justin said favorite when we were picking them.
I did, yes. Yeah. But for me, my favorite are my 5 best.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap there for me as well.
Yeah, so like
that's because we're boring.
One of my favorite things to do as a rogue is not live the entire game under a Frozen in Fear.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've done it. It's not fun.
Because then the second one hits and you're like...
Yeah, and you're just like...
Yeah, I mean, like, all rogues with, like, 1 or 2 brain need a plan for Frozen in Fear. And, like, there's Tennessee Sour Mash at level 0, and there's Calculated Risk at 0, which isn't really that exciting, but it works. And then there's also...
And just live the good life.
Yeah, and there's also then a few other ones that we're going to see later on the list as well.
You just roll around, you just get to play,
it's just, like, kind of okay. This card is, like, mostly here to remind me to upgrade to whichever one I'm allowed to play. Because it's probably only one unless I'm Lola, and then I have to...
Is it really a choice?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I do look forward to see...
The green one's just... No, the red one is just better. The red one's the extra damage one, right?
Nope.
No.
The green one does... So, like, the green
red one's Stunning Blow.
Yeah, like, this one upgrades to, like...
It's not right.
Yeah, two very powerful cards, which are not exactly what we're here to talk about. But the green one, the flavor on it is, like, you do extra damage because you break the bottle on the table and you stab the guy a bunch with it because you're, like, you're a criminal. Like, you're just going to end the fight as quickly as you can. And the other one, you're breaking the bottle on their head because you're just like, get me the fuck out of here.
And then one has more drinks and one is cheaper.
The red one's cheaper whiskey or whatever. It's got more whiskey in it. But the green one is better.
Yeah.
It's just a... It's just like
literally cheaper, though.
No, it isn't.
No,
the green one still costs 3. It's just fast. The red one costs 2, but isn't fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's just a cool option
Neat.
for not losing the game to Frozen in Fear.
Yep.
Which, like, you might not, but I wouldn't risk it.
Just bigger Secret play logical reasoning.
It's true.
Nah. Seekers never do anything to help anybody.
It's
not their thing. They just show up for book tests. That's what they're doing.
They do.
That's what they got.
My number 5 is Watch This. And I ain't even memeing, okay? I ain't even memeing. So I have to have a skill card on the list because I do actually love the hell out of skill cards. And this card got a gigantic boost in with the Thieves Kit. So now, like, if you're just like playing Rogue and you're getting clues, play Watch This, and your Thieves Kit now gives you 4 resources. It is a risky emergency cash, but just don't lose. Just don't. If it happens, you suck. It's a skill issue for sure. But
it is a skill issue.
It is, yeah, it is. But it's one of those things where just like I treat this card as just an actionless, like, it takes an action, but it's an actionless emergency cash in my rogue decks now. And it is nice, and it just hits, and it's great. It was Mimi definitely at first when you were just like using it to just evade. But now with all the rogues tools, like Thieves Kit, and like even like Kimani just using your grappling hook. Parallel skids when it comes to gambling with his ability. There's a lot more like use cases for it where it actually triggers with the foot symbol more. Tony with the fist. It's really nice for Tony as well.
There's a brain symbol there too.
There's a brain symbol there too when you're drinking with your Tennessee Sour Mash trying to get under a fucking...
yeah. Or your Dexter or Safina.
Yep. Dexter, yep. Safina, yeah.
They both could make some reasonable use out of that.
Yeah.
It's true. I think the brain symbol's there mostly because the book doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, the book was here
He's like carrying a book, like vaulting off the back of a car.
Hey, watch me, I'm reading. And I think also I'm glad it's not there because this came in Carcosa with lockpicks. I think it would be really annoying if you just used it for lockpicks and easily just got the money each time. There's like no risk with that. All right, Travis, your number 5 is...
It's nimble. Wow. This one lets you move a bunch after you pass your test by a lot, which is very good. I've played this in some green decks, and it has been very good every time I use it. It's good for helping people who may have wandered far off and need your help. It's good for breaking evade locks. It's good for... that's like most of them, but like sometimes it's just worth a bunch of actions.
Yeah. This card's great. I agree. It might be on my list. I actually already forgot most of my list because it was like a mess when I was putting all this stuff together. It is great in Silas. I love it in slight spoilers, well, actually major spoilers for Scenario 2 of the Forgotten Age. When the temple's going down and, you know, there's things in the way, this just like rockets you across. If you're planning on playing this in your deck.
Just play Open Gate.
Or just, I mean, just play, in that situation, just play I'm out of here, you know, that also just solves that problem.
It's only you, it doesn't help your teammates too.
Who cares about teammates? Yeah,
cares?
that's not secret thinking. That's not secret thinking, Travis.
That is secret thinking. That's not rogue thinking.
The Seeker's got them.
But I mean, like,
our teammates, we just know you don't matter.
Nothing hits like stronger, like it feels like you'll just feel like so nice when you get like a Rotting Remains. Grasping Hands when it's in the encounter deck. You use this, you move a bunch, and you're like exactly where you need to be. If it's so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, even if this card is just a shortcut, shortcut's really good.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. All right. Bryn, your number 4 is...
Oh, breaking and entering, which, if you are careful, is simply entering. You know, we add our foot value. Foot value is always really big unless you're sometimes when it's not. Yeah, you add it to your foot, you investigate. If you succeed good enough, you automatically evade a guy too. It doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. You're just like, no problem. I'm forwarding the game state. I've solved my problem. It's now probably the Seeker's problem because I'm gone. I'm like, you know, using Nimble and I'm moving. I don't need to be here anymore.
You can't use Nimble.
Not on this, no. No, it's you're doing that on a separate test.
Oh, okay, because you were engaged with 2 enemies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Or like lockpicking a clue away and then be like, all right, you get the Seeker, you have a time limit. This enemy's coming up and I'm gone.
Yeah.
But you're like, you got 2 of the clues, there's only 1 left. And you're like, see ya!
Yeah, the card's just good.
Yeah,
like it can automatically evade an elite enemy, which is
sick.
something that I wish they would unify in card design.
I mean, I do think that this
I just want it to be the same.
I do think that this fits with like
so that it's easy.
what you said previously when we talked about Stunning Blow compared to Trish, where like this requires a test. So like that's where they sit like with a elite.
Yeah, but it's not always.
It's not all like
because like the red Tennessee Sour Mash.
Oh, that one's that's
is
true.
non-elite but requires
I think even
a punch test.
Slipaway is no, that evades it, but they don't freeze.
Yeah. It does. It's. I just. I would like a little bit more consistency out of that design, but I understand that I will never get it.
Never ever.
Well, I can't. It's too late.
I'm always happy when.
Well, it's not gonna change moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm always happy when Bryn plays this card. It's just like I'm like, how do we deal with this enemy? And Bryn's like, I got it. And then he break and enters, and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
It's also funny because I think obviously the level 2 version is good, right? But I've been more impressed by the level 0 version each time. It's just like there's like better things to buy. It's just interesting, but because I thought the level 2 version was gonna was gonna just put it in every one of my decks, but I just was like, all these other cool things to upgrade into
Yeah.
over the
Well,
level
it's
0.
good, but like, how many times do you really need to play Breaking and Entering?
Exactly, right? And the answer
Every
to that is
turn.
probably
Okay, then why aren't you playing level 2 and for all your decks?
Because that's not my job.
it's true. It is usually not his job.
Okay.
My job is to go find the fucking runic axe and then trade it to Danielle.
Every day, I come as like freaking like Rex Murphy, and you're like, "Here's your runic axe, sir." No,
Thanks.
please, I want to get off. All right, my number 4 is Nimble. Look,
Wow.
I already said all my shit about this. We could just keep on moving. Card's great.
Good card.
Yeah, we could be nimble and just.
Yes, just keep
Yeah,
going. So
yeah.
let's do
Jump
that.
right over.
Let's go to Travis's number
Wow.
4, which is
Is Intel Report. Wow, this card's great. Discovering a clue for 2 money in green, even if it costs you, I mean, like, yeah, it costs you an action, but so does investing. You just don't have to do a test. Great. You can pay 4 money to get 2 clues, and you can pay 6 money to get 2 clues. Allocation up to 2 connections away. How many actions is that for your 6 money? That's like, it's like 6 actions.
yeah. If you need to go back, it's
Unless you were gonna move there anyway,
Yeah, but
or
no,
you
it's
got
like,
a nimble.
it's like 6 actions.
yeah.
No, then how's the nimble gonna help you investigate?
Fuck, I don't know.
with these kit.
There's a lot of actions, and it's lets you like be very flexible as a green character, especially when your stats are bad, which a lot of them have bad book.
Yeah, this card is also hilarious in the last scenario of Dunwich, which, spoilers, I guess. One of the locations disappears when it has no clues on it. So you can do a lot of really janky things if you can get the clue while you're not there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, if you compare this to, like a card like Look What I Found is really good, and this is basically just, like, Rogue's Look What I Found, so it's going to be really good. It scales up, obviously, but Rogue has the money to pay that scale up without really missing it too much.
You
Yeah.
probably can.
Yeah. Great card. It
Great
is
card.
very good. Anytime someone plays it, I'm like, let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, realistically, also, like, even though you can pay 6 to do that, most of the time you're just paying 4 for 2 clues, and that's
which is
really
like
nice.
still really good.
Yep. All right, Bryn's number 3 is none other than
Yeah, Sleight of Hand is just hype.
What does this card do, Bryn?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why it's not further up the list. They keep changing it all the time. Currently under the most recent taboo, it puts an item that is level 3 or lower from your hand into play and then puts it back into your hand at the end of the turn. So there's cool things you can do with it. You can like sleight of hand into play a shotgun and no, not one of the 2 cool ones, like the old rusty one that's no good, but it'll have 2 bullets because it came into play while you were playing an event. So that's kind of neat, I guess.
I actually played an old shotgun Will Yorick deck recently for the first time, and I also actually played a Tony Morgan Sleight of Hand Lupara deck. It is just as fun as you described.
Sleight of Hand Lupara is so cool. The game's like, this guy's tough. He's got three hit points, and you're like, he's dead.
My new
Also, that guy's dead too. But
You know what, they clearly printed this
Yeah.
card. You play with Lupara, and people were like, "I'll put the Necronomicon and play." And
Yeah,
they're like, no,
yeah.
stop!
stop it.
Why would you do that?
my favorite thing my new favorite thing is I do it with the upgraded Thieves kit, and you just like haste
burn it?
and just like get like
Yeah.
fucking 12 resources for one. It's
Yeah.
It feels so good. You're like, that's pretty sweet, and you also get a bunch of clues in the process.
I mean, it did used to be really fun in the beginning when you could put anything into play, and the game was like, you don't have a weapon, here's an enemy, and you'd be like, oh no, here's a machine gun from my underpants or whatever.
yeah.
That was kind of fun.
I mean, there's
I think
nothing
currently you can put like you can put the upgraded Thompsons into play with this,
Yes.
and like the blue
It's like
one
level 3
is
Yeah.
like a lot of
or
money.
lower.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
sweet.
You can't do it as Tony because Tony doesn't get to do cool things.
But you can do it
Just
as
like really good things.
you can do it as Leo Anderson, who has just his deck building is just so impressive.
What you mean?
Yeah,
Showing
he's
up
really bad.
and,
but-
and playing a Switchblade 2 or like a Knuckle Duster on turn 0, and then doing nothing else except kill enemies for the rest of the game is
Yeah.
not cool.
Well, I mean, like it's fun for the first like 3 times it happens, and then you're like,
Huh, I have 7 more scenarios of this. Huh?
Alright.
I just remember when I did that with Travis, and he had, like the Knuckle Duster. No, the Knuckle Duster, the Switchblade, and then also like the Garrote Wire, and Travis was just like,
Yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna...
Yeah, it was really
Dude.
fun when we were at the party and we killed all the guests, and then after that, it was like 2 scenarios later, I was like, huh?
This is it, huh?
Who's the deck, huh?
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but sleight of hand has a bunch of cool things that can be done with it.
Yep.
That being said, it is not an auto-include because you really need to have a plan for what you're going to try to do with it.
They should, you know what the taboo should be? They should just fucking say, play a guardian or rogue asset to play from your hand. Just let's try that. Let's leave secret
It
out
could
of
just
it.
be rogue.
Yeah,
That would make sense too.
if you could put just guardian assets into play, just like
Flamethrower.
collect a bunch of guys to just sleight of hand flamethrower.
Let's go!
12 points,
Yeah,
boys.
did you see this? All right.
Good.
It'd be pretty alright.
I mean, I suppose if you want to do that, just
Yeah.
fucking, we could just play no taboo. It's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is quick thinking. Dude, I've had 3 fucking skills. At the start of watch this, I had to put a skill card on the list, and I had 2 remaining skill cards lying in wait after this. Quick thinking, it's a wild. If it's successful by 2 or more after resolves, you may immediately take an action as if it was your turn. Do you know what's fun? Having an action essentially not count, while also getting a clue or dealing damage to an enemy. That's what quick thinking does. There's really not too much to say about it. I'll play it in, like, almost anyone who can take it, because I'm planning on succeeding by 2 or more, even if I'm not just a straight rogue. Like, I'll play this in Silas. It's really nice in Silas, especially if you hit this off. If you get this off your Elder Sign, you're gonna be like, actually, I'm gonna choose Resourceful and get back Brute Force. Or I'm gonna do Brute Force, but you know that's also yeah.
That's true. Although I think the last, like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 times that I've seen you play this, you just haven't gotten an action.
It's true. I actually have had some really bad luck with this one. In like in both Monterey Jack, in the Monterey Jack deck, I had the worst luck with quick thinking. Yeah, but I'll still play it. One wild icon also, just like, even if it just helps you pass a test you're not confident about and you don't get it, it's not the worst. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, it's just like never bad.
Yep, just never bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, your number 3 is.
Oh, you handle this one.
All right, I'll talk about it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, that was a joke for all the Arkham people, all the Arkham fans watching.
Oh, okay. No, this card's just good. It's like Warrior Protection, but different. It gets you a resource, which is neat. Yeah, just like passing a brain test off to your Mystic or whatever, they'll probably be annoyed, but they're also gonna look at the brain 3 test and their 6 brain not care.
Yep.
Yeah, this one occupies like a really weird space on the Ward of Protection scale, where like sometimes it's 1, but sometimes it's -1, depending from where you view it.
It's probably like 0.95, if we're being honest.
No.
It's like almost.
No, it's
always.
actually exactly 1. Or -1. Like, it depends who's looking at it. Is it the person that you pass the test to? Then it's -1. They have an extra card they need to solve. Like, nothing has happened for them except that the game
but if it's
is
a card
harder.
that the function
Right,
doesn't matter to
right.
them, does it count as a card?
Yes. It's just lucky.
But
But it's
not
the same
lucky
as
'cause
drawing.
You get to
No,
pick.
it's lucky because it's just that whatever the other guy didn't want.
Like, so if you're like, so if you're the rogue and you draw a card that you don't want, if it's like a brain test, for example, odds are you're probably going to be better at the brain test than the rogue, so you're not going to mind it. If it's an enemy, that means the rogue doesn't answer the enemy, which means it's probably not their job, and it's your job to deal with the enemy.
Hang on, let me check the math. Yeah, no, it's just 1 or -1, actually.
One thing I love, I mean, obviously the card's great. When this came out, we were like, wow, like a really solid, awesome rogue card. This is insane. I love that it's like literally just reverse Ward of Protection, right? Where it's just like, hey, you also get a resource instead of pain. Like, I think that's
Heal
really
horror,
fun.
though.
Pardon? Yeah, you don't get the horror. Yeah, you don't heal the horror. That would be awesome.
That would be
Yeah, that would actually be pretty sick.
I bet you it did that in testing.
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa, we can't be giving rogue good cards.
I mean, that would probably be a little too good, and it's also not really a green thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like,
I mean, I do like the
smoking
implication
this,
with the smoke break being like,
right.
let's go.
I mean, like maybe if he was like having a drink instead of smoking,
No, that's
then
what,
you could
that's
like
what
tie
smoking
it in.
does.
No, you could tie it into the like all the other liquor effects that heal horror.
Yeah, but smoking,
Well, we actually know
smoking also heals horror because we have 1 smoking effect.
That is true. The smoking pipe, yeah.
The cigarette case, you don't actually take any cigarettes out. It just sits in your pocket and stops a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it does.
Okay. I think about Druid cards, but okay.
No.
I would love a level 2 version where it's just you can take it from anybody to give it to somebody else. It's also the biggest.
Insane.
It's also the biggest compliment when someone gives you this card, right? Because they're saying, "You got this. You got this."
It's a very optimistic way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean,
you're like, what am I supposed to do?
I mean,
I don't know.
I've never
I can't solve it.
I've never been in that situation. It's always like, you can do better than me.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can do it well.
Oh, yeah.
So you're saying that we need to put together some sort of Safina deck with like Drawn to the Flame. Like, Drawn to the Flame, get my clues here, this is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you draw like a card that's like scary and you can't, like an enemy you can't deal with, and they give it to you and they're just like, I think you're less valuable than me.
I've never seen that happen at our table. Not at our table.
Well,
Maybe.
we don't say that loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, Travis is just gonna start playing Mono Rex with 2 of this card. Like, here, you can have that, I don't care.
Just give him a book test. You're like, what the fuck?
You do whatever. Yeah,
It's a falsely. I can't afford to put these clues down.
we can't afford that.
You can't afford it, Rex? You're literally a deduction with
I
legs.
sit there, I have 7 clues that like a character I draw Hunting Shadow. I'm like,
All right, Bryn, your number 2 is...
Oh, it's Liquid Courage. I wasn't sure if it was going to be Liquid Courage or Double or Nothing. It was one of the 2. But Double or Nothing, you can't play anymore, so that probably makes it not good. Anyway, Liquid Courage is on the list because this was one of the first times the green cards felt like they did something that mattered. Which was Heal Horror, which is not something that was really doable before. Like, I mean, you can do it any number of ways now. It's
you had like level 0 clarity of mind.
it's not quite so impressive anymore. But when Dunwich came out, man, the chance of 2 horror, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Discarding a
it's, like,
random
fine.
card, like discarding a random card it's also very difficult for that to actually hurt you.
Yeah.
Odds are good that when you have taken a bunch of horror, you're in the midpoint of a scenario, and all the cards you really care about, you've played already. Everything else is just kind of there.
Yeah, like the odds that you have a card in your hand you care about, and that you fail the Brain 2 test, and that you randomly discard the card that you care about are pretty low.
Yeah.
Sounds like a skill issue.
No, this one's an asset issue.
Yeah. Anyway, this card just does a lot for the 1 resource that it costs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it also just... It's nice when your rogue friend comes up to you and says, "Here, drink this."
Okay.
You're like, it feels good. It feels great.
You show up and you're playing Carolyn, and you're like, I drew this cat, but he's not in a great place, so I'm going to pour some whiskey on him. He'll be better.
I recently...
Carolyn's pouring whiskey on a picture of a cat, and you're like, you doing okay?
I was recently playing
These are my friends, hey?
with a Safina who, like, with 8 cards in hand, somehow failed each Liquid Courage and each hit the card that they didn't want to discard. So thank you for getting all that luck. So that never happens to us.
Yeah, that's
very
really
kind.
good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
All right, my number 2 is Lucky Cigarette Case. 2 cost, takes the accessory slot. After you see the skill test by 2 or more, exhaust Lucky Cigarette Case, draw a card. So if I can play the level 3 version, I'm gonna buy the level 3 version. But I'm never upset to just draw more cards if I can't. This one to me kind of breaks what I would do for these videos, where I'm not looking at upgrading out of these. But like Lucky Cigarette Case is just so damn freaking efficient. Because you're rogue, you're looking at succeeding by 2 or more. So like with your lock picks, you're going to go to the moon. If you're not a rogue, like say for example you're Rex Murphy, hey, I want to succeed by 2 or more, so I'm just going to do that anyway.
Why can Rex even play this card? It's got lucky in the name.
It's not a fortune. Fortune's only things that happen. You can own items that are lucky, but he can't have lucky things happen to him.
So then it's just a cigarette case.
Yeah.
So it just takes up your accessory slot.
We say draw cards.
No, you don't.
It is really good at
That's
Rex.
the lucky
Holy
part.
yeah.
Well, no, because you're not getting lucky. You show up in 10.
It is just skill. Yeah, it's just skill. It's just this is.
Rex is just really good.
They should just say just the skilled cigarette case. Card's wild. A lot of people can use it really well, and a lot of people will keep playing it And it's also like one of those reasons why Rogue sometimes feels like you need, like if you're like a tryhard, why you kind of like want to look at a Relic Hunter. Because I mean, I've played 2 cigarette cases in my Relic Hunter slots, and yeah, sure, it's like boring as sin, right? But it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a bit of a strange turn of phrase, though. Like, most sins are kind of fun.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like
No,
what
that
makes,
is
it's
true,
what
yeah.
makes them a sin.
It is
right?
true, yeah. Yeah. It's a good card, though. It's a good card.
Anyway.
Yeah. Travis, your number 2 is...
It's quick thinking, yeah.
Wow.
I like this one for the same reasons I like Nimble. It's just, it goes in any deck, and you're, like, instead of getting 3 move actions, you get 1 action of anything, which is, like, a pretty reasonable trade-off, so yeah.
You can also do it in other people's turns, which is the best part of it.
Yep. You can commit to other people's tests, and you just get an action.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I
good
should
card.
start doing that.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to pass my own, just
Yeah.
fucking it up each
Just
time.
wait till I roll for my book 7 test or
Yeah, 'cause
whatever.
you guys are
Like,
just-
here you go, bud.
Yeah, you guys, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, card's great. I've already talked about it.
Yeah,
not gonna talk about
it's
it
good.
again.
There's
Yeah.
not too much to say.
All right, let's go to our number 1s with Brins. Now, if you're a longtime viewer, you might be able to know what this card's going to be. Bryn.
Yeah, right. We got the Crystallizer of Dreams. So this is the reason that Lucky Cigarette Case sucks. Every other card we've talked about today, it's trash. This card's the only real one.
What if the card was an event?
Yeah, what about Breaking in the Ring?
Yeah, what
Well,
if
yeah,
they-
I mean, like, then it's pretty okay
What about
if you have
Intel
a
reports?
Crystallizer of Dreams, but if you don't, then it's just like, whatever. It's who even cares?
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, it takes up your relic slot, or your accessory slot. It's not a relic slot, but it is a relic hunter, so I suppose that makes sense. You gotta find a copy of Guardian of the Crystallizer, not pictured here because it doesn't matter. It's wholly irrelevant.
Actually,
And
is, yeah.
as a reaction effect after you play an event, you attach it face down to the Crystallizer, which again is like, you know, probably irrelevant because you're going to look at them a lot. Because you can commit them as though they were in your hand. So probably just attach them face up because it doesn't matter. Are you hiding information from your teammates, like information that they already possess because they watched you play the event?
Yeah, but
and
they're not
then
keeping
resolve?
track, so they'll ask you, like, hey, how many
Right,
brain symbols?
right.
You look at your 4-card brain symbols, you're like, because you keep them for your own brain
Right,
tests.
right. I suppose that is true. That is
Yeah.
a fair point. Yeah, the Guardian of the Crystallizer is like a 3/3/3 enemy that does 1 and 1, and it has Hunter.
jellyfish.
It enters the battle. It enters play,
He's
not the
awesome.
battlefield because this is not always a battlefield, only sometimes. It enters exhausted, so you just walk away.
Just leave.
Yeah, you just walk away. He's like, no, bring back my eggs, and you're like, no, I need these.
Yeah, and the nicest thing, too, is because, like,
for
I think he's
things."
bearer only, right?
Yeah, he's prey bearer only, so like nobody else has to give a
Yeah,
shit.
so like eventually the Guardian will
Yeah.
just be like, I guess I'll kill this like thing crawling on the floor, you know, and then it's like problem solved, right?
Yeah. Anyway, turning all like rogue events tend to have 2 icons stapled to them that usually correspond to the kind of thing that they do.
Yeah, and it's usually, I mean, it's usually just like not brain. They exist,
Yeah.
but it's usually just like book,
Yeah.
fist, foot, and mostly book and foot.
They also quite often end up with, like, one of each, which is, like,
Yeah.
kind of awkward when you have them in your hand, but it goes really nice with the Crystallizer because you can, like, play mix and match for the symbols you actually need.
Yep.
Yeah, and like there are some that are like, you know, brain and book or brain and foot or whatever, but you know, if we're using those, it's because we don't have a better plan to deal with the Frozen in Fear that we've drawn, and it's gonna make getting away from the Guardian way harder.
I still want to see the, even though it's like not a great way to build Dexter, I want to see Bryn do the astronomical atlas, get event, play event onto Crystallizer, commit Crystallizer, and just like
Yeah.
get 3 uses from each of your
Yeah,
cards.
I mean that would be kind of funny. Like you get even like, you know, if the Guardian somehow manages to pin you down and you, by some freak of nature, have to care about it.
Yeah.
You just discard the Crystallizer to play something else, and you're like, oh, I don't have it.
Yeah. That, yeah, you're cornered. And it's like, I'm going to get you. And Dexter's like, Get what? Chris, what jellyfish egg, you fucking idiot?
All I have is this like bottle of liquor or whatever. He's just like,
it's
no.
just like,
All I've got is this man.
that is actually really funny. That seems like a good time.
Like, it probably won't happen because the crystallizer's slow as hell, but,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
That is so funny.
This card's sick.
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool.
It's just a good time. Also really good with yellow events, because yellow events are just always like, did you want a perception this? And you're like, no, it's a yellow card. I'll pay for it and do whatever broken ass thing it does. But...
Yeah.
And then you can come here for books
Yeah, but then
later.
you get to do it anyway, so joke's on them.
That is, it is sick.
Yeah.
All right. And my number one
And
is
my
also
number one.
Travis's number one,
Wow.
Faustian Bargain.
Yeah, speaking of cards that don't have brain symbols on them.
Yeah, it is really nice with the crystallizer too, right? It's just,
You get to test the 2 brain instead of 1.
Doubles your brain,
Yeah.
brain.
100%.
So this card is just like really damn good. 5 resources distributed as you wish. It's really damn good. 2 curse tokens, doesn't matter. Like, if you're playing, like, if 3 people are playing Rogue or, like, can have access card and they all play them, you'll probably feel it on 1 test. But you also still just got 15 resources. I'm at that point now where I actually, like, actively choose to not play this card. Just because, like, what I predicted, I was like, this card is just, it's just too good, and I'm going to get bored of it. And I kind of just, like, am.
Never.
Yeah, I also don't get bored of it. Because it's not like a card that affects what I do in a game. It's like emergency cash, right? I'm not bored of playing emergency cash. It just exists. Same thing with this. Like, it's just there.
Yeah, like, am I going to stop playing Stand Together? Probably
Stand
not.
Together
This
makes
is like
everything-
the same thing.
It is like Stand Together, yeah.
Only
It
with
is.
much more flexibility.
Much more flex, much more greed. You mean? It's just being like, hey, does anyone need resources? Like
Just
I do. It's like,
kidding,
yeah, you can have
yeah,
1, and I'll
yeah.
take 4.
Yeah, it's not like something like a Lucky Cigarette Case 3 that or like Cyclopean Hammer that take away from the other things you could be doing, right? It doesn't like limit your options. It's just there.
I guess for me, it's the boring comes from. I mean, I play like a lot of decks. It's one of those things where it's just like, I hate like looking at Rogue and being like, okay, well, I have to include Faustian Bargain. So it's like me changing up that because I'm bored of being like, I'm always playing Faustian Bargain.
Being bored of playing Deduction in your secret decks?
No, but that's because it feels so good.
It's very similar, Justin.
No, but I mean, like, I think a lot of people have issues where if their curve is like 3, they're still gonna play Faustian Bargain, right? Like that's where I'm coming into.
It doesn't matter though, because you just give it to your teammates.
Yeah, but the thing is, I also don't think that I necessarily need to put it in if they also have a good economy. Why am I going to waste my deck slots when I could run something else instead,
Because
right?
you can play economy.
Pardon, for them?
Like you're gonna play cards that make money for you, right?
No, not if my deck doesn't need it. If I don't need economy like that, right? If my deck's good, but this, I think that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah,
people
no,
will
but you're gonna play no cards that produce resources in your deck.
unless it's an active card. No, like if I'm like if my curve stops at like 3, I'll play like. I probably actually won't run a lot of economy in that deck.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's kind of
But what
this
I'm
is the
still-
best option. So it's like if you're not playing it because you don't need it, then like you're not playing any cards that produce resources for you.
Well, I mean, I would play things like. I mean, in the right deck, I'd play Watch This over Faustian Bargain. Like, if my curve was low, because I'm actively contributing to the game without spending an action to get money that I don't need, and I'm assuming my other deck, probably because I built it, doesn't need it, right?
Okay.
But, like, I'm not saying that it's wrong to put it in, because it is, the best economy card in the game, but I think that some people will just put it in because it's like, oh, it's Faustian Bargain, and the table needs it, right? And I don't think that's always true. But I also think that it's probably better that people do because, you know,
Well, you
people's
don't know-
economies
you
can be
don't-
like a little bit
Yeah,
rough.
you don't know what
right?
other people are playing, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like yeah. So you can engineer situations, especially when you're playing like just two-handed, where you don't necessarily need it, but that's like probably what like 2% of decks or whatever, right? So if it's you're gonna show up and not bring this, be like, yeah, well, there's like a 2% chance my teammates aren't gonna need it.
And I've also seen a lot of times where, like, I guess also with how decks are now too, I've seen a lot of times where people have like, and like, you look at it like people play Faustian Bargain and then they end the scenario with like 11 resources. And I'm like, that's probably, I think one of those things that's kind of like, you know, you might not need it as much as you think.
Yeah, but then you get 11 victory.
That is.
Yeah.
Do that. Could you imagine?
You can commit for brain though.
You could commit for. Yeah, you could commit for brain.
It does like actually commit for good symbols.
It does commit for very good symbols. Yeah.
So yeah, card's great.
And that's when I started to go out of it as much as I did, as I used to just always include it. When I started to notice I was committing it more than playing it, because the symbols are really damn good.
How else are you gonna afford to play your breaking and entering every turn though?
It's true. Yeah. But that deck needs economy, right? That deck needs economy, and this is the best economy. I mean, it's my number one. I'm not saying the card's bad at all.
The only time I won't
really
play
good.
this is if like it's literally the only card that produces curse tokens. I just don't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
Because like physically putting them into the bag is kind of annoying. It's like mildly annoying. And I'm like, I can just leave these tokens at home if I don't play this.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'll play emergency
I often
cash.
play this card so that Travis has to bring the tokens.
Yeah. Same with Promise of Power. I mean, like, that's one thing that we said in the past, and I think it still holds true. The worst part about Faustian and Promise of Power is that you always need to have curse tokens on standby.
Yeah, it's so hard to justify not playing them.
Yeah, because they're just, like, so damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just use like your normal tokens, and then we'll use the cardboard curse tokens.
Yeah. Just like,
No
oh, you guys didn't draw any curse tokens. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I'm just really lucky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Damn. Good card. I mean, there's a lot of good rogue cards at level 0. Not as much as, like, if we did this ages ago, like, you know, when the first core set just came out, not so much. But now, rogue's pretty spicy.
Yeah, they got decent cards.
They got decent cards. And they got some really good upgrades, too. Yeah, I like rogue
So
upgrades.
rogue really shines.
Yes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. We're going to be back in 2 weeks to talk about the Mystic Level 0 cards. So get your predictions in now for what's going to be there and why one of them is going to probably be Promise of Power.
Knives for hands.
Yeah, Knives for Hands is
Ward of
really good.
Protection.
Ward of Protection.
Deny existence is
Deny
Ward of
really
existence.
protection
That's
actually
pretty good.
1 out of 1
Yeah.
Really?
on the Ward of protection scale. You might not think it.
Who would have thought?
I would think it.
Yeah, who would have
How
thought?
does War Protection 2 score on the War Protection scale?
Still just one.
Only slightly higher. Yeah, it's like slightly higher because it can be more often a ward of protection.
Yeah.
What about War Protection 5?
Still just...
Oh, dude.
Because
Yeah,
it
that-
What I'm learning is
cards.
that, but what I'm learning is that Bryn and I have different scales of the ward of protection. Because to me, a ward of protection just stops a
No,
card.
so
That's
like a 2.
Is this
Like
like how you
2.
got, there's like different pints and shit?
yeah, so there's actually now 2 ward of protection scales
Yeah,
that you're going
yeah.
to need to follow.
No.
Mine's really easy though. If it stops a card, it's a ward of protection.
Okay.
If it doesn't, it isn't.
So it's a 1 or 0.
Yeah, it's binary. But then you're asking, didn't you say Promise of Power is just a ward of protection? Yes, it is.
Yeah, ward of protection 2 is like, marginally higher because greater opportunity is afforded to ward of protection.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But ward of protection 5 is just straight back down to 1. It's 1.
But it can stop more cards than
But
War
it's-
Protection 0.
Still just 1.
Yeah, but it's just 1.
Does it stop a
So is
card?
War Protection 0 worth less than 1?
Nope. Still
No.
1. Stops a card.
No, it's a 1.
But War Protection 2 also just stops 1 card.
Yep, so it's
Yeah,
worth 1. Worth
yeah.
1 to me.
But there's more opportunity, so it's worth more in your eyes.
Yeah.
Slightly. Like,
Not mine,
what
mine's
if
still
I'm
1.
not drawing a card?
Okay, no, but
Because,
War Protection 2 is worth more because it has more opportunity to stop cards. But War Protection 5, which stops more cards than War Protection 0, is not worth more.
No.
Why not?
It just stops 1 card.
But so does War Protection 2. It also stops 1 card.
Look, I don't think you understand.
I don't, that's why I'm asking.
I don't think you understand how complex this math is. It's like really weird.
Why is War Protection 2?
Like,
I don't understand why having more opportunity to stop cards is different
Look.
from having more opportunities to stop cards. They're the same thing.
because it still has to be your card.
So,
I don't.
So
make
stopping
I
someone
don't-
else's card is worth more than stopping
Yeah.
your own card.
Yeah, I don't make the rules. When you plug all of the all of the variables into a calculator, Ward of Protection 2 is like 1.05.
You have a War Protection calculator.
Yeah.
Can I see it?
No, he
No,
left it.
it's
He left it at home.
Can you bring
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, one day.
I'll come over
one
and you
day.
can show it to me. I know where you live.
Ooh, sorry, I left it at Justin's. Sorry, I forgot. I brought it to Justin's a while ago.
Oh
and that's where
man,
it
my
is.
brother took it with him, I think.
Yeah. And also people have requested for us to actually
Clarify them.
to do a video where we talk about this. I don't know if we can, to be honest, on a serious scope, because it's like
That'd be a fun one. I mean, like, definitely on a serious scope, but you guys just make scales of, like, where things rank on them, and then I ask why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so, like, what are there? There was the unexpected courage scale, which is really easy. If something gives you, like, +2, that's an unexpected courage. It gives you +1, that's half an unexpected courage, right?
And we have the Justin Ward Protection scale and the Bryn Ward Protection scale.
Yeah. Mine's really easy for water protection.
Yeah,
though.
no, I believe it. Yours is, like, metric. It makes sense.
Did we have one more scale?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember
You
what
guys
it
were
was,
talking
though.
about another one.
Yeah.
I also remember what it was. If you guys
Oh, the emergency cash scale. The emergency cash
yeah.
scale is always emergency cash scale is like metric. It's just it's completely logarithmic. There's no strange math. It just
Faustian bargain.
Faustian bargain's worth like 1.
Half of an emergency
1.23.
How much is 21 or bust worth?
Oh,
Depends on what you get.
Yeah, that's quantum.
Yeah,
that's quantum.
It's actually really easy because I think 18
cash.
gives you 5 resources, so that means it's 1 emergency cash at 18. Because it costs 2 to play, you get 3 back. Yeah, then it gets more, and then it goes from there.
Yeah, but like, doesn't it depend on what your chaos bag is?
No, it's just for me. It's just the output. It's what you put in and what you get out.
So what's it worth if I'm trying to decide whether it's worth it to put it or emergency cash into my deck?
Just do emergency cash. It guarantees you 3 resources.
Don't play 21 Busters.
21 Buster is great. It's really fun. But if you need economy, just play Faustian Bargain. Just play Faustian Bargain. The #1 rogue level 0 card. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.